Hey there, it's another Beatles fan, and Paul McCartney got back to his Got Back tour and to the US. And this video is supposed to tell you a little bit about what I think the Got Back tour is like if you've never been there, what I feel like will change from the previous legs of the tour, and what I think won't change, what I think will stay the same. And well, for starters, of course, the Got Back Tour is aiming for its fourth leg in 2025. The first leg, I believe it was mainly US dates, and the Glastonbury concert, right? I do believe that it was in 2022, I could be wrong, but in 2023 saw Paul taking the Got Back Tour in Australia, Mexico, and Brazil. It was on this 2023 occasion where I was able to watch 4 of Paul's Got Back gigs, and also I was able to meet the guy and watch his sound check in October 2023 in Curitiba. Of course, that was a life-changing experience, right? Then in 2024 he came back to Brazil, and I watched another one of his gigs, this time in São Paulo, and he also toured a ton of other countries in Latin and Central America, also Mexico, and I believe Madrid, Paris, London, and Manchester. So he's back in the US now for the fourth leg. And well, what can I say except that the Got Back tour is clockwork already. It's already like that. You feel like they're super well rehearsed, they know what they're doing, and it feels like, of course, let's not talk about Wings and Wings Over America. Let's talk about old Paul, right? Paul with this band, Rusty, Brian, Abe, and Paul Wicks. I do think that they've kind of hit a height where I don't think they can add more to the experience, if that makes sense. What I mean by that is that they now have horns, they now have incredible sound and incredible lighting and visual effects on stage that I don't think Paul's really trying to do anything different anymore. I think he's found his formula, and I think he's happy with it. And for sure, for someone who's seeing Paul for the first time, or even the Got Back tour, I think it's incredible. The set list is great. His only song that he doesn't play, a huge missing track, is Yesterday. I think it's because vocally he's not there anymore. I don't think he wants to do that vocally wise. And besides that, there's some code cuts, there's some stuff that he's cut throughout the years. For example, my city, Belo Horizonte, saw 2 gigs of the Got Back tour. The first one, on the 3rd of December 2023, had him sing for the last time For You and You Never Give Me Your Money / Bathroom Window. It was a shortened version of those 2 tunes, like a little medley. It was the last time he ever sang that. And on that day, Paul had a few soundboard issues. I think his main soundboard broke right before the concert, so there was no DJ Chris Holmes there. He got late, like, I believe he was more than 1 hour late, so it wasn't the best night for the tour, and that was the last time he sang those songs. And on the next day, the 4th, he skipped those 2 ones, and he never did them again. So besides that, I think he's maintained a steady set list. I don't think it will change at all. From 2023 to 2024, he added now and then. I believe it was an addition. It wasn't a replacement of any sort. But of course, he removed, like I mentioned, For You and Bathroom Window, right? So I gotta be honest, I'm not sure if he's even gonna change one single track of the set list. Of all the tracks that could be skippable, I feel like Come On To Me would be one that maybe he replaced it for maybe a new single. I'm not sure. Of course, he'd had to release it by now, I think. So Paul's new album, I don't think it's coming out anymore this year. Maybe so. Maybe during the tour, or maybe he's gonna use the tour to promote that. But if so, I think he would have released the announcement of the album before that. I feel it makes more sense to start off hyping with the album, and then, oh, here's the tour, we're gonna sing songs of the new album. I think that's how it goes. So that being said, I wouldn't put my money on any new Paul McCartney album or even a new single this year, which is quite sad, of course. And so the set list, I don't think it will change. I gotta be honest. Come On To Me is, again, my top one contender for removal or replacement, but I think it's a rocker, which Paul loves doing, and I think it's easy for him vocally wise. Of course, he's not able to sing all those screamers anymore back to back. He's got to have some breathing room. I believe Come On To Me is in there for that reason. Also, it's great to listen to a 2018 Paul track, especially in the beginning of the set list. I feel like the set lists are super, they tell a story in a sense. They almost always do. So he starts off with a huge Beatles number. He goes on to some Cool Wings cuts and also some Beatles B-sides, if I can call Getting Better a B-side. Then he has the acoustic part. Then he plays Maybe I'm Amazed, My Valentine. I believe I switched those up actually. And the end is just the grand finale, right? We have Hey Jude, we have Let It Be, we have Live and Let Die, we have Helter Skelter, we have Don't Let Me Down. I've Got a Feeling with John on the screen. We have The End. It's so well-rounded set list. I don't think he'll do anything to it, because really, does he have to do anything with it? I'm not sure. If we're talking about needing to serve the main audience of those gigs, which is casual rock and Beatles fans. The hardcore fans, of course, they like to hear one song from each album, or maybe Temporary Secretary, or something from the 90s. You know, give us Flowers in the Dirt, give us McCartney 3, you know, give us Women and Wives, which I heard on the sound check. But he's not gonna do that, of course. So that leaves us with some more stuff that can be changed on tour. The pre-show with DJ Chris Holmes, I don't think, actually I know it's not gonna be replaced, because Chris has already posted a teaser on his Instagram, and of course it's cool. It's a good warm-up. I think Paul doesn't really want anyone to open for him, and with that, a DJ makes sense, and he's a cool DJ. He remixes some Beatles tracks in an interesting way, but you know, a little refresher would be nice, I think. But of course, I don't think he'll ever bring a band to open for him. I think that's out of the question. So that leaves us with the merch. I also wanted to mention that, because there's tons of merch there. I love the t-shirts. I should have brought some t-shirts. I saw some people online discussing if they're gonna be the same as last legs or if they're going to be new. My experience, the posters are different. There's a book of the tour that always gets appended with the new dates, so that's something to look forward to. There's also the t-shirts. There's some of them which are standard across the Got Back tour, like that image of Paul with the clouds on his t-shirt. I think that one's gonna return, but there's always new stuff, so look forward to that. Besides that, I think I made my point here. Of course, this was all a big rambling, but I think, I hope there was at least something new you didn't know, or please let me know down below. What do you think about the Got Back tour? Have you been able to go to any gigs so far? Will you attend the US gigs? If so, what are you looking forward to? What would you change on the set list? And yeah, that's it. Thank you for being here. Paul gave us the new album, for God's sakes. And yeah, I'll see you later. Thank you so much.